Hi, Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Hamza Noor, and the topic which I'm going to discuss right now is coordinate geometry for O-Levels Maths 4024, O-Levels Admaths 4037, and you will also study this topic in A-Levels Maths P1. So here is basically the summary of this whole topic. So in this topic we are going to discuss about the straight lines, the system of the straight lines, its equations, its cases. Okay, so in order to draw a straight line you need at least two different points, at least. Okay, so the equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c, and the coordinates of a point are shown in the form x comma y, where m is the gradient or the slope of the straight line and c is the y-intercept. In order to calculate the gradient of a straight line, you need 2 points in the form x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2, and the formula for calculating the gradient is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That means the change in y over change in x. Now, what is c? C is the y-intercept, the y coordinate of the point where the line cuts the y-axis. One thing you need to know that x-intercept is the point where the line cuts the x-axis, and y-intercept is the point where the line cuts the y-axis. So at x-axis we can say that y is always equal to 0. At x-axis the y is always equal to 0, and at the y-axis x is always equal to 0. So for example, if we have a straight line equation y is equal to 2x plus 4, then m or the gradient of the straight line is 2, and c, the y-intercept is 4. So the line is intersecting the y-axis at point 0 comma 4. Now, how do we calculate the distance between 2 points? First thing you need to know that obviously you will need 2 points, x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2, and the formula for the distance is under root x2 minus x1, the whole thing is square, plus y2 minus y1, the whole thing is square. Now, how do we calculate the midpoints of 2 points having the coordinates x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2? This is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. Now, here we are going to learn about the different cases of the straight line. First thing is that if a graph is an upward sloping graph, if a line is upward sloping, so the m is always positive, and if it is a downward sloping graph, then m is always negative. Then the third case is that if you have a flat line or a horizontal line, so m is always equal to 0. The fourth case is this, that if the straight line is vertical, then m is undefined. Now the question is why is m undefined? Because as we have studied earlier, the gradient of the straight line, the formula of calculating the gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here you can see that the change in x is 0, and you know that any number divided by 0, the answer is infinity. So in this case the m is undefined. Then we have the case of parallel lines. What are parallel lines? Parallel lines are those lines which do not intersect each other and they move in the same direction. Okay, so in the parallel lines we can say that m1 is equal to m2. The gradient of the parallel lines are always equal. In this case m1 is equal to m2, the gradient of the lines is equal but the c can be different. Like for example, we can say that y is equal to 2x plus 4 and y is equal to 2x plus 3. These two lines are parallel to each other, and obviously their c's or their y-intercepts are different. Now, here we have the case of perpendicular lines. What are perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines are those lines which cut each other, which bisect each other at a 90-degree angle. And in case of the perpendicular line, the product of the gradients is always equal to -1. Therefore, m1 multiplied by m2 is equal to -1. So, for example, if you have a line which has a gradient 2, so the line which is perpendicular to that line, the gradient will be -1 over 2. So when you multiply 2 multiply by minus half, the answer will be -1. Now, what are the collinear points? When three or more points lie on the same line, they are said to be collinear and have the same gradient. For example, if you have a straight line which contains 3 points, let's say A, B and C. So the m of AB is equal to m of BC and this is equal to m of CA. So this is basically the concept of collinear points, and you need to know this basic concepts because there are some particular questions that you may be asked in your exams and you have to apply this concept there. Now, what is the equation of the straight line parallel to x-axis is y is equal to b, because as we have studied earlier that in the case of horizontal lines m is equal to 0. Therefore, the equation of the straight line in this case will be y is equal to b. For example, y is equal to 2, y is equal to 4, y is equal to 3, etc. Equation of a straight line parallel to y-axis is x is equal to a. As we have studied earlier, if the straight line is vertical, then if a straight line is vertical, the m is undefined because the change in x is equal to 0. And as we have studied earlier that any number divided by 0, the answer is infinity. So the gradient will be infinity here, and the equation of the straight line will be in the form x is equal to a, like x is equal to 2, x is equal to 3, x is equal to 4. One thing is that area of triangle. Now, we have the basic formula of calculating the area of triangle is half into base into height, or by the sine rule we can calculate by half multiplied by AB into sine C. In this topic we are going to study a different formula, like for example, if you draw a triangle, you need at least 3 points, at least 3 coordinates in the form x1 comma y1, x2 comma y2 and x3 comma y3. So these are ABC are basically the vertices of triangle ABC, and the area can be calculated by this formula 1 upon 2, and there you write a modulus sign, and in that you write x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, and again x1 y1. This is the basic rule of this formula. By this formula you can calculate the area of triangle, area of parallelogram, or area of any other shape. So in the case where you have to calculate the area of triangle, we have 3 points. So when we write x3 y3, so we have to write x1 y1 again. So for example, if we have to calculate the area of a square or area of a rectangle by this formula, so we will write x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, x4 y4, and then we will again write x1 y1. So the cycle has to be completed again till x1 y1. So in this case we have 3 points till x3 y3. So in order to complete the cycle, we have to again write x1 y1, and the next step is that in this particular pattern you have to calculate the answer, like x1 y2 plus x2 y3 plus x3 y1 minus x2 y1 minus x3 y2 and x1 y3, and by this formula you will be able to calculate the area of triangle. Now here are some particular questions. Some are made from the past papers and a few questions I made myself. So in the next video, inshallah, I will be discussing the answer of these questions. And I hope by through this summary you will be able to solve all of these questions by yourself. If not, so you can ask me and I will be helping you in the next video lecture. Thank you.